represented McEachern High School in over a decade. So new to us this year, as of January of this year, Pembroke High School and McEachern High School are the high schools that are in Post 3. South Cobb High School has then been pushed into Post 2. So I just want to give you some clarity on how long we've been here. Although I've been in the McEachern area for a long time as the South Cobb Council PTA president, supporting 28 schools here in the southern portion of the county, all the way out to Hillgrove, familiar with the community, but I am glad to be here before you today during this to discuss what we need to do to move forward. So first step, this is what we're going to do. We're only going to do about 3 things this evening. We're going to talk about where we are, collective action item for what we're going to do, some things that we can do as a community to come together to get some information to the district. My job as a Board of Education member is to be the liaison to the community, to the school district, right? We are not an operation arm, we are a governance arm. What we do is we approve budgets. Some of the things that we do, we ensure that the superintendent has policy. Those policies in which he uses to operate the school district. When it comes to the operation of the school district, that is in the hands of the superintendent. That is not the responsibility of the Board of Education. So I want to make sure that we're clear with that. Is Marley Burke in the room? Is it Burke? Marley Burke. Thank you. So I want to make sure that we're clear on what my role is. My role is to take back information and hand it to the superintendent so that he can improve operations as it relates to McEachern High School. So that's what we're going to focus on tonight as well. I also want to take an opportunity to hear from you in regards to the incident that happened on last Thursday. Okay, I do want to be clear. There's more people in the room other than McEachern. There's Pembroke High School people in the room as well because we kind of share some similar circumstances at the moment. On Wednesday of last week, 2 loaded guns were found in the campus as well. I'm a parent of a student at Pembroke High School, and as a parent, I am in a place where I kind of understand where we are together. We didn't have an incident like we had in the future. We are going to try and talk about both of them, but at the same time, we're really focusing on what's happening here right now, okay? So I just want to go back and give a brief history. Back in August of this year, I was at the Pembroke High School, McEachern High School scrimmage game here at McEachern High School. I was at that game. I was in the box watching the game. And so it was the incidents that took place at that game which prompted me to go home and to create a policy to give to the superintendent. That policy became urgent when we had an incident at North Cobb High School at a football game, maybe a week or so later. And then since then, we've had guns show up at Pembroke High School. We had guns on the outside of the campus at Pembroke High School. Then in December, we had an incident at McEachern High School where a picture was taken on campus. And then we find ourselves Wednesday of last week when those 2 guns were confiscated on campus at Pembroke High School. And I'm going to give you some of the updates that I've had talking to the superintendent of schools and other board members in regards to where we are. And one of the frustrating things, and I did reach out to the superintendent on that Wednesday at the Pembroke situation, and my frustration was we're moving too slow on the things that we need to ensure school safety. And he agreed with me. And he went on to tell me there were some things that were currently in the works that were being requested. And but then, of course, the next day we had our incident. So I want to just make sure we're clear. The policy item that I presented to the Board of Education back in August was for a couple of things, 3 different things. The first thing was to ask that we improve our public safety force with school support officers, not necessarily gun-toting officers, but additional support that will be in uniform, walk around the building, but not necessarily have a gun. For example, if we needed someone at the gate, the entrance, as cars are coming in and out, we will have someone that was able to do that and not necessarily tie up our post-certified officers with some of that stuff. At some of our games, I was requesting additional technology. And so we don't want our post-certified officers bogged down with the screening process of people entering our facilities. So we would have additional school support officers that would be able to handle some of those duties. So that was part of it. The other part of it was technology. And technology was two-part. We needed something that would be at our games as people were entering, that could screen them, that would allow us to ensure that we have a safe environment while our community is coming together for games, football games, basketball games, you name it. That was part of the technology piece to investigate. The other technology piece was for our day-to-day operation, just to ensure that we don't have anything on campus that shouldn't be there. And so those three items are still pending. The agenda item is still pending. I gave it to the chairman last year. I spoke with the chairman this year in regards to it, and it's still pending. So we'll see where it's at. But those are going to be some of the things that we need in order for us to move forward. The superintendent has also started working on some of those things with me as well in regards to technology, and I believe that some of that will be rolled out at McKeecher, was scheduled to be rolled out at McKeecher at the next basketball game. And so we'll see how some of that is working. But it's still a work in progress. So I just want to give you an update on what has transpired, where we are with that, and what we need to do to move forward. I want to take one moment to first acknowledge who's in the room. We have our commissioner for this district, Monique Sheffield, in the room. We also have a representative from Chair Lady Cuba's office. Would you like to just greet the people on behalf of the chair?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sana Azim. I'm representing Chairwoman Lisa Cuba this evening. She sends her greetings and her concerns, and she just wanted me to relay that she's with all the students, she's with the parents, she's with the families, and the schools. I have my business cards. If there's anything our office can do, please take the card and reach out with your greeting. Thank you.
We also have Representative David Wilkerson in the room. He's in the back. Will you come greet the people for just a moment, sir? Thank you.
Hi, I'm State Representative David Wilkerson. Good thing while I'm not saying hi, so I'm in the microphone. But as a parent, let me first say I'm a state representative. I live walking distance from the Beach High School, so right outside. When you come out, make a right, you're right over there. I see some of my neighbors who I see a lot of familiar faces. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to thank our school board members for hosting it. There's a lot of people outside that can't get in, and so we're trying to figure out the best way to get them the information because we are at capacity, and unfortunately, I want to thank the city for having it here. I really do. This needs to be a continuing dialogue. So at the Capitol, we focused on two big things the last year on the education committee. We focused on literacy, public safety. Literacy and public safety. Anytime we focus on we talk about those. So last year we passed House Bill 147, which requires two things: a shooter drill, active shooter drill, and we provided money to the schools, as well as requires a safety plan. So after I talked to the chairman and leadership of the Capitol, because I was looking at it was a governor's bill, I was asked to sign, I signed it. I've taken the vested interest in making sure that we have a safe community that we can all send our kids to. And that's the goal, is to make sure that we need to make changes, that we have an open dialogue on those changes. And the dialogue starts tonight. So please share your opinions so we can go back. Please share your feelings. Please share what you think we can do good, what we can do better, and what we ain't doing at all. Because that's the only way we can make a change here. And I want to thank you all. Again, it's a full capacity. We're here tonight, and, let's make a difference. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Wilkerson. Mr. Wilkerson, can you do me one favor? Board member Becky Saylor is standing right there. Can you bring her to this seat? This is the fire department, sir. Board of Education member Becky Saylor is standing right there. Can you bring her? I saved the seat for her. Is that possible? Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. She's scheduled to be here tonight.
Good
evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight in spite of the circumstances? I just want to greet everyone tonight and thank you all for coming out. It really warms my heart to see the community come out and voice their concerns. But I would ask of each of you to please attend the school board meetings. There's a public comment section where you all can voice your concerns, not just to your school board member, but to everyone else that's on the board. And how many people here, by show of hands, has been to the Board of Commissioners meetings? Okay. At the Board of Commissioners meeting, they are very charged. They are very charged meetings, to say the least. And at the Board of Commissioners, we also have a public comment segment where each speaker has an opportunity to speak for 5 minutes about whatever he or she chooses to speak about. And oftentimes those are subjects that the Board of Commissioners has very little or no control over, but they're free to come down and speak for 5 minutes. A lot of change can happen just by you showing up, because although there are a lot of I guess subjects or topics that we hear at the commissioners level that we may not have that we may not have control over, we still have relationships that we can connect people with the right organizations. So I say all that to say, please carve out time and visit those meetings.
Third Thursday. 7 p.m.
7. And even if you can, and this is the last thing I'll say, even if you cannot make it down, at the very least, send an email. It really will go a long way. And I'll share with you guys, in other parts of the county, people are very, 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 very vocal. And I'd like to see the same thing in our district. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. Before I introduce everyone else, there are some papers going around with all the email addresses to the Board of Education and also to some of the district staff members. If there's not enough papers, please just take a picture of it so you will have it, share it with your family, your friends, and your community. We also have with us tonight is Board Member Becky Saylor on the Board of Education. She represents District 2. Would you like to say hello?
Thank you for being here tonight. School safety is so important to all of us. Trey and I both have kids in the school system, and so we really take it very, very seriously. We're so glad to see you here and committed to hearing about that as well. And the people out there will make sure to get your information as well. You can pass those forms off in the lobby as well. And as Commissioner Sheffield said, we do have public comment at every board meeting. Sign up for that half an hour before the board meeting starts. K12.org is where you can go to find out details about how to sign up for public comment. And where to do that. And again, emails are really important. If you can put your concerns in writing, that's something that we're able to get you a written response to, and that's really helpful too. So thank you so much for being here.
We also have with us Board Member Bradley Wheeler. Bradley, you want to say anything to everyone? You want to say anything to everyone tonight? Yes, come on. So we're also streaming tonight because we are at capacity. So if you have people outside that were unable to get into the meeting, they can grab the stream at
YouTube.
Coffee Talk with Trey. You're ready to do Coffee Talk with Trey every Friday after the board meeting. You can go onto YouTube at Coffee Talk with Trey, TRE, and you can watch what's happening in this room. For those in the lobby, and then if you can let the people in the back know that as well.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming. We had, Montgomery had a coffee talk this morning. That was well attended. It's good to see people that care about their kids and their community. This will take everybody. It's not pointing fingers at this, but really, this is serious stuff. And we've got to do something to prevent things that we don't want to happen. And I say thank you for coming. Thank you.
Summer Edwards, if you can meet Mr. Tank, Summer Edwards, if you're in the room. All right, okay. Oh, let me give you some resources before we move into our next portion. First off, this card here, please put your name, phone number, email address on there, and anything that you want to share, because we're going to allow some people to talk in just a few moments, but everybody's not going to get that opportunity, as you can see, with a room this size. But you need to share something, whether it be your experience with the situation, whether it be next steps, what can we do to improve, to be better, collective action items. Write that on here, we're going to take those up, but make sure you include your name, your phone number, and your email address, because as you can see, with a room this size, everyone is not going to get an opportunity to speak. The other thing that I want to make sure that we are aware of, Cobb County government has offered us to utilize the services of Cobb Collaborative. Cobb Collaborative has a lot of resources around mental health, and like this, we are aware that that some challenges. So Cobb Collaborative, and they're willing to come to any community. They're actually having a dinner tonight, which is why they're not here. But they have parent cafes and they have community cafes where they have dinner. They bring the dinner and we sit around the table and we talk about the things that are pertinent and needful in our community. So we're going to have several of those in collaboration with the Cobb Collaborative in regards to this particular situation right here over the next coming months. Okay, so I want to make sure that you know that there will still be additional opportunities for us to come together and decide how we're going to move forward together as a community. You want to speak?
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm just here to understand what is going on, to share it with the council members. I was 2 years on of what is the council of the city of Dallas. And I have grandson at the kitchen, and I'm very concerned because the children, young people walk across that campus every day. You never know when something is going to happen. So we do need to get a plan.
Thank you, Patricia. Ms. Wisdom, Councilwoman Wisdom. Are there any other elected officials in the room that I missed? Yes, come on. Thank you to the city of Powder Springs for allowing us to commandeer their city council chambers for this month.
Good afternoon. My name is Doris Dawkins. I serve as city council member for Ward 2. And we do hear you and all your concerns because your children are our future and we have a vested interest in their concerns. So please, you know, give Dr. Trey. Yeah. I'm calling Dr. Medvez. Please let me know your concerns because, like you said, we are a city that care about this community. And thank you all for coming out.
So we're going to get an update. Thank you. We're going to get an update from the Cobb County Police Department. Chairlady Cupid was very instrumental in making sure that we were getting updates, and so I want to yield the time to our police chief, Stuart Van User, and his staff.
First City almost called me Captain because we've been knowing each other for a long time. Hey, thank y'all for coming. I want to thank Trey. Update on this case, it is still an active investigation. We still have a prosecution ahead. So there will be limited information that I'll be able to give you, and this is not really the point of this meeting anyway. I know you are concerned, and that's what we're going to get to. So I'll be brief on the update. I understood that there was some interest in hearing how we responded to this and how well that went. So I have my deputy chief who will speak to that, and I would also like to introduce in the back is George Mestry, Red George. He is the commander of Precinct 5, so he was the commander in this area when this call came out. His captain, Lennox, if you would raise your hand, sir, brand new captain. Everybody clap. So coincidentally, George Mestry happened to be the incident commander that was on the call when this occurred. And so he was the incident commander. So we have Deputy Chief Cohen who will address that. We're going to give some comments and then we're going to step aside and we're going to hold any questions for Trey to we're able to identify a suspect and take that suspect into custody in less than 24 hours, I would say. Probably around 12 hours. Very, very, very good work from our detectives that we are very forward to have. Deputy Chief told me just a few minutes. The individual that we did take into custody within that 24-hour period, that man was arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of possession of a firearm on school property. His name was Scott, common spelling, F-O-O-R, and he was 17 years old and is an adult in the state of Georgia. The second arrest was made, I believe it was about 5 days later. That individual was charged on the juvenile complaint form. He was 16 years old. We did not release the identity of juveniles, so that would be withheld. He was charged with possession of a firearm 5 days later. Thirdly, yesterday we were able, last evening we were able to secure an arrest warrant on one other individual. That individual was charged with aggravated assault. Possession of the firearm on school property and loitering on school property. That individual was also the victim of the shooting. He was shot in the leg. His name is, as I said a moment ago, we will continue this investigation. We could probably answer some very basic questions later when that time is made available. I would like to let you know some general things that I hope will help you understand how much we do to prepare for an active shooter, which this was not, but also how much we collaborate with the Cobb County School District Police and other agencies. I think this will help you feel better about some of the things that are going on behind the scenes that you're not very aware of. But one of those things is every single year, and mostly what we are concerned about in this are schools. We train every year on active shooter. And when I say that we train, I mean we have makeup artists come in. These are very, very real scenarios. We have very realistic scenarios that are, they're hard to go into, even though you know it's a training environment. We're pretty good at our response. In this case, we did respond as in teams. They're called contact teams. They did go in. You'll hear a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But I want you to know that we prepared for this. There's a saying. It says, what that means is that We have 3 boys, they go to Cobb County schools, they went to Cobb County schools, they went to Alton High School. My wife and I grew up in Mapleton, and we went to South Cobb High School. So we are part of the community, and so when we're training with your children in mind and our children in mind, so we take it seriously. The nitty-gritty details of that will be available to you on March 16th. It's a Saturday at our training center, which will be on our Facebook page. We strongly encourage you to follow our Facebook page. We will be talking about a lot of things. One of them will be our active shooter protocols and how we train specifically. It's free. We'll even feed you hot dogs and hamburgers and that kind of stuff. So that's coming up on March 16th. So please put that on your calendar if you're interested in attending that. The one thing that I would like to say, this is what you can do. You're going to hear a lot tonight about what we are doing and what the Cobb County School District is doing, and we'll get a lot of information and ideas from you guys. But what you can do, I will say this, the citizens are, anybody know approximately our population? About 800,000. So it's hard to watch 800,000 people with 700 people. That's less than 1 per 100,000. But what we find is that when there are concerns in the community, and we hope that you will see that we're prepared. What we're asking is for community involvement to be aware of some of the things that we talk about in our restaurants. It's the presence of guns, especially in our hands of juveniles. This is a problem. But we are going to be the last to see them. But people in the community, parents, family, guardians, friends, they see them. What we need you guys to do is just be involved. And I know you are already involved and you wouldn't be here, but some other people may not be as involved as you, and you may hear some things. We ask you to see something, say something. If you are hearing concerns, do not ever think you're calling the police. There's a little program called guardian program. And when we have a concern about somebody, we assign a guardian. We'll find a family member that will actually intervene and make sure, keep an eye on that individual's mental status and things like that. And we have a program where we check in and make sure that that is going well. And that's a very effective program. I want to tell you that because we have people in the community that sometimes give us this information, we have thwarted attacks that nobody ever knows about. And the reason you don't know about them is because they're juveniles, and also sometimes it's extremely sensitive information that is not accessible to the public. But I have seen these programs work, not only here in the metro region, they work. We just need you to let us know that you have a concern. If you're speaking 100 from me for right now, we'll be around for questions. The only other thing we were asked to talk about was the response that day, and I have Deputy Chief Ben Cohen here to talk about that. That won't take very long either, I don't think, and then we will step aside and let y'all ask questions later. Thank you all very much.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Deputy Chief Ben Kelvin. And what I want to do is kind of explain to you what we did as a police department. And I need to go back to April 20th, 1999, which was Columbine, if everybody remembers that. It was a long time ago, but it all kind of burns into our head. I've done a lot of research on we kind of said to ourselves as a police department that we were not going to allow that to happen. What happened there, the big failure was they waited to act. We don't do that. So even though this was not an active shooter event, we didn't know that at the dispatch. So, about 1 p.m., the dispatch went out. 5 minutes later, we had officers on the scene, securing the parking lot, and putting tourniquets on the shooting victims. We were the first to run the raid, but not only that, we had about another 132 officers, deputies, police officers from Marietta, Smyrna, Powder Springs, Estelle, responding to Keatron High School. So in about, I think it was 13 minutes, we had over 130 officers on the scene. We've done this once or twice, unfortunately, but like Chief said, we do train every single year, so everyone kind of obeyed instructions. We're very fortunate that the incident was outside in the parking lot. We secured it, we secured traffic. We did some other things. We provided a staging area. We were going to do a family reunification area. And then we communicated with the school and the school police. And then after about 2 hours, we relinquished the scene, continued the investigation, went hunting for the victims. So what we do is we just go straight to the action, and we make sure that if anybody's getting hurt, that we stop that immediately. There's no waiting, there's no trying to figure out what's going on. And that goes for the whole county. I hope this never happens again anywhere else, but just rest assured, if it does, we're going to be there to make sure that your children are as safe as possible.
Thank you so much. So we're going to have a couple of people. One of the first is one of our students who. Let me see if I can find her. Ms. Booker, is Ms. Booker here? There she is.
Okay, so the whole situation, because I am a student at Keatron High School, the whole situation was very quick, but also very messy. Like, the second that I walked out of the third block building, I'm already hearing about it, but I don't know much. Because my freshman year, it was always threat, it was always something. And then last semester, the whole situation again, but my main concern is how does so much get away so quick, and it lingers. Like the whole school day just lingers and nobody says anything. The same administrators that have these connections with the students, they see things and they don't say anything. You make reports. They hear you, but they don't listen to you because they don't really care about that problem. There are too many people worried about kids smoking in the bathroom, doing this and the third. The real threat is why are 16-year-olds handling guns? I know people personally who are 16 who carry guns for good reasons, bad reasons. Either way, it's too much and it's too quick for people to keep overlooking it because y'all know this is kids that are young. But we see a lot, and for y'all not to listen, stuff like this happens and it gets carried on and it gets too much. I can't tell Miss Montgomery how to run a school because I don't run a school, but I've been in the system for so long and I've been misunderstood by administration. I've been overlooked by teachers. I've been picked on by teachers. And throughout all that, you're standing here telling me all the same things I've been telling you since day one. You've got to listen to the people that you're talking to. There are too many teachers here that are only teaching to get their student loans forgiven. So I'm here. It does affect the students, because then you don't know what they're doing at home. So when the people who are supposed to lead them in life don't care, bro, it just gets carried away. And it's sad to see people that I've seen walk in and out of my classroom get arrested the next day because they choose to bring in a very big gun, whether it was real or not, a very big gun, and ain't nobody say nothing up until third period. Over half the day is already gone. It like wait till somebody has to die or a parent retaliates for the sake of their kid for you to understand that this is a serious situation. Bad things should not happen for you to take responsibility before. And I've had situations where there will be incidents with shootings at a park when I was younger, like probably. One year I had them on, but it was a really like trying to carjack somebody with a whole bunch of 7-year-olds at the park. And it was too late because they got away. I had a big job, but at this moment, if I sit here and do nothing about it, I'm not going to go to sleep at night. I'm considering moving schools because I don't feel safe. I feel like too much has gotten away too quick for me to even. I'm looking over my shoulder at school at 16. I'm in a cosmetology program, and that's supposed to set me up for life. So if I'm considering walking away from that for the sake of my life, that should say a lot. Like, because the programs, I'm new to it, I've done a lot in like 2 years. And if I have to walk away from all that just so I can just even get an education and get into college, that's ridiculous. Nobody wants to listen to the kids concerned because they don't believe what they do when they actually hear it, and they have to wait to see what they all eyes. I don't know how everybody was raised, but that's not how I was raised. That's not how it should be. And as sad as it is, people need to listen. Please listen to your kids. Please listen to your kids. It should have been no reason why I didn't flinch when I heard literally the second, like 147, second of the bell rung, there was gunshots, and I just kept going about my day. But I didn't really believe it. And then walking out, a lot of years of police cars that you don't know if your friends, you don't hear from them again because you don't know what's going on. And your principal tells you that she's worried about your school grade, that don't make you confident either. And again, I'm not throwing shade, I'm just being honest. You don't have to share all the ins and outs of what's going on, but that is not something you should say when there was people injured at your school and you're worried about a logo. That's not what you need to have people behind it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brooke. I want to take a moment to also recognize Senator Doc Red has entered into the room. Don't forget Red. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, sir. So we have on this wall here, we have 3 papers where this young lady is writing down anything that's said. And then the next 3 set of papers will be those collective action items that we've come up with, some of the things that we desire to see happen. We're going to write them down on that one over there. Okay, Ms. Hassan, are you ready to share with me?
I do want to first start off by saying that the school is not McDonald's. It's not Target. All this worried about the brand and less about the actual kids is a real problem. So, in addition to the shooting, my son is a student at the teacher, and he was a missing child. Maybe some of you are dumb because the school didn't say anything. There was a letter that followed
So I have a little problem. My son is texting me while he's in school, telling me that he's been shot in the leg. So I'm, of course, worried, even though this is the second time. Just last month, they had an AK in the back. They really need to put something in place because from the other, there was no assembly. So how can you say that you care about these kids? And what are the counselors? Like, if this is a pep rally, you would have an assembly, right? I spoke to the police department. I appreciate y'all work, but I'm gonna be honest, there was so much focus on, on the shooting, there was no focus in the campus police. They said they checked the campus, and I was told, while I was crying, to stop crying, and to go home away from my child. Okay. My son has ADD, and he already suffers from anxiety because of what's been going on. So, like all the other options. Because my son turned 16, they also told me they really weren't going to look for him. So just so you know, every this type of situation, it's the community that really helped to bring me my child home. My son walked for over 8 hours. And so we got not been reminded, went to multiple churches, which, by the way, we got there. They gave me a different church than what was even in the email. I ended up having to resort to putting my baby on the roof. Because I thought to myself, if these people put their dog, I put my child on the roof. And on the next door, the community got up out of their bed and they helped me look for my child. Instead of that, a lady felt in her spirit to get up and go look for my child.
and she valiantly brought him home to me at 12:47 a.m. My child doesn't have the type of executive functioning skills to be able to know that my son is dead. I should ask somebody for help. I should go inside somewhere. He didn't have that. And it's unacceptable to me that they did. When I spoke to the principal, she did not take accountability. She explained to me that she had no control over that that came from the district. And she did different than what was, she said she didn't know anything about it. Yet I want to point out that the police officers up here also talked about going to a location to reclaim their children. But that is not executed. And it's almost like the blame is put on them. But they're not following their own protocol. Because why would I not listen to the district leader? The address is there. I can't make up where I'm supposed to go to receive my child. It's not my fault that you changed your mind and did something different at dismissal. So when I asked for a copy of the police report on the school campus, the principal told me, I'm not sure who was named. How do you not know who was named when you had a missing student? And I stood there with my family, both of you and the two police officers that you had. That's it. I was turned away. There was no compassion and there was no accountability. And if they think that I'm going to go, I'm not going to get it. Because the same way my child was not safe and I was through him today, your children are not safe. That campus is big. There are too many entry officers. We have to demand to have more presence so that they can be held accountable. Because it could have been anybody else. The way that those children were lapping up and getting in cars, they could have had accident, they could have been driven off somewhere else, and you wouldn't know where your child is. And the fact that they're not holding it accountable, the fact that nobody's talking about it. One of my son's teachers called me yesterday to ask me why my child hasn't been at school. They didn't let him know. Okay? I spoke to his counselor because I wanted to remove. She didn't know. How could something so drastic and major like that happen at the school? And his own teachers. It's because they want to cover it. But you don't have to worry about that inside your lives. Because I'm going to keep speaking, and I'm going to keep talking, and I'm going to keep coming to the board meetings because something needs to be changed. And I just want y'all to know the children are not safe. I'm hoping that they can put something better in place. But the protocol that they have right now was not followed. And they don't have anything properly in place to keep your children safe. My son's scared to come back to school when he should be worried about his education. I should have been given more compassion when I came in. She spoke over me and my ex-husband when we were speaking to her. She didn't want to listen. So for me to come in there, I mean, I know my child is going to be alive for it. Because when you start hitting those wee hours of work, and you know your child doesn't have those type of executive functioning skills, I don't know where my baby is. The sheer fact that he walked for over 8 hours, it was cold that night, y'all. I thank you for the community for helping bring my son home. And thank you for getting our baby coming from my child because nobody from that ass had it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. I have a special place in my heart for Ms. Adesanya because Ms. Adesanya used to work for the Cobb County School District, and she taught both my babies in fourth grade at Bryan Elementary. So we're going to help support you, Ms. Adesanya. Next, we have Brunessa Drake, and then we're going to start right there. Okay, Brunessa.
Thank you, Trey. I'm Brunessa Drake. And I first want to make sure that I thank the Cobb County Police for their response and all the different agencies. 1 week ago was the most terrifying day in my life as a mother and as a parent. Nothing is worse than getting notified by another parent that there was a shooting at your child's school. I didn't receive word from the school, but that parent actually saw the information on the Nextdoor app. That's how she was made aware of it. What was even scarier is that I was downtown Atlanta and had to make a beeline to get back to Cobb County. When I approached the neighborhood, because we live about 5 minutes from the school, to see that the perimeter had been extended all the way to Macklin, and that there were men out there with long guns, and the information that was shared with us was to go to the school, then you get to go to the church, but you get to the church and they tell you your child's a bus rider and you pick them up. The communication piece was just all over the place. Today, I had an opportunity to attend the principal's talk, and the information that was shared was alarming in the sense that there seems to be a hiccup in the sense of there were no answers that pertain to security and the safety at that school. And that's my biggest concern. When we don't know how many officers were there as far as campus, Cobb County security, or Cobb County police, school resource, we didn't get an answer about that. I had an opportunity to speak to a parent today, and she shared with me that she had just, this year, she had relocated from Haiti. They fled Haiti because her children had been held at gunpoint going to school by the gangs. Once they arrived here and started going to school in our community, they left it. But this year, the 3 incidences that have happened have now had her children terrified about what they experienced in another country. What they ran away from that country trying to avoid, gangs holding them up from going to school. They're experiencing it here in the middle of USA, right here in the community. That's unacceptable. Our children should feel safe in the classroom and not feel like this is normal. My son's freshman year, he was outside having lunch and an accidental code red happened. The voicemail that I got made my heart sink. My child was basically called and was like, Mom, I'm running for my life. I don't know what's going on and I don't know where to go. At that time, it was made known that they had never had a protocol in place if an active shooter was happening during lunchtime. That's an issue. An active shooter just doesn't come to second period or fourth line. There should have been a protocol in place so that half of these kids were at lunch, that they would know where to go. And it may be because he was a freshman, I don't know. But the fact that when I heard that voicemail, that was alarming. And here we are in year 2, and it's been one incident after another. And as a mom, and as a community member, I'm concerned. And as I stated last week, it was an airdrop, AR, whatever, I don't know, assault weapon 15. Now we have shots fired. God forbid, whatever the next event could be, the outcome can be potentially worse. And that needs to be sure that we don't let that happen.
Yes, sir. We are going to take a couple more people for the next 20 minutes, and then we're going to start 25 minutes, and then we're going to start talking about what can we do next. So we're filling up this right now as you guys speak, and make sure you fill out your cards as well.
That your son was missing. I'm so sorry to hear that. So my son is a senior at the teacher. And every morning before he leaves out to go to school, he was saying, I'm a child of God, God love me, I'm breathing, I'm a father, I can pass any test. And he avoids himself. And I'm asking that he avoid himself. Because that day, my son, he's a senior half day. He was able to leave school, drive, and get pulled over by the cops and said, didn't get any answer. I called up my cell phone probably 20 times and did not get one answer. When I got an answer, it was a police officer howling, put get on the speakerphone. And I said, where are you? He said, your child is being detained because he fit the description of the shooter. Black hoodie, all black. My son didn't have a black hoodie on, and he didn't have on a white hoodie. My son hollered out, Mom, I'm on Villa Road. When I got there was 11 cop cars. My son was in handcuffs and in the back of the car. Can you imagine a mother seeing her child handcuffed in the back of a car? My son has never been in no trouble. His friends have never been in any trouble. They come to my house, they are respectable young men, and they know that in my house, God comes first. So I'm grateful that my son anointed himself before he went to school, because that could have went a whole different way. 4 black men, 4 young black men in a car. They did not, they searched the car, didn't find anything. They told us we want to search the book bags to make sure they didn't change clothes. My husband had to go down to Fairground to pick my son up. When my husband got to Fairground, the detective, Joshua Allen, came out, the detective, and told my son the police officers took it too far. They don't even know why the kids were there. So, oh yeah, we all know because they were black driving. And that's the only reason why my child was pulled over with his friends. Now, the shooting happened at 1:30. My son was in school taking a test. He had to make up a test. He didn't get out until 1:47. So you tell me, why wasn't the school locked down? Why wasn't the school locked down? Where was the principal? Where was the teachers? And I'm gonna tell you why the principal doesn't care. It's a video going around of this principal smiling while 2 girls are fighting. Nobody is doing nothing about that. These people that got on the campus didn't even, why were they allowed to roam the campus? And then I hear that some students got suspended. Why? I don't understand this. Something is wrong with the system. And I will tell you the real truth why something is wrong with the system is because McKeachum is predominantly black men. And that's the reason why nobody cares about our students. And it has to change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Raquel. My daughter is a senior at McKeachum High School. I did.
Bluetooth mode.
Hello? There we go. I did attend the coffee talk this morning with the principal, and I have to be honest, I was taken aback and I was disappointed. Accountability is a very big thing in order to have any open conversation. There is accountability, and I did not go to a meeting to say because I'm not in PTA, because I can't attend everything, that this is why things are happening. That's not why this happened. It happened because there's a lack of security or presence on that campus for those students. If the principal can walk around with an officer in administration, who's protecting our children? If she can have protection, why can't our kids have it? That's what I need to control. I don't think anybody telling me I need to join PTA. I'm an active parent. I'm active in my daughter's life. I'm active with her teachers. I'm active in all of that. You may not see me every day because I have to work. Everybody can't be everywhere all the time. A lot of parents have to work and cannot miss work. They have to take care of their families. So to kind of shame parents earlier this morning, because that's what was implied, and we're not going to disagree, we're going to disagree on, but that was what implied in that meeting. And then also the blame was put on the district, that the district is not approving to allow additional officers or resources on that campus. So that's why we need to have more answers and understand why the officers are not there. Why are things getting denied? Why aren't things getting, money getting put in there? And another thing that she spoke on was consequences. These children don't understand consequences. She tried to say they don't like to fight on campus. There have been fights at that campus almost every day, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning, and all you have to do is be a part of social media and see all of the videos circulating. From guns to girls fighting to teachers and administrators trying to break it up. It's constant. It has been going on constantly. So we need to figure out what needs to be done. Yes, it can start at home, but once they get to school, we cannot control what our children do. You only can hope and pray they uphold the values that you have instilled in them. If they're not, then that's where I think the administrators and the additional officers come in to help us. If it takes a village, it's going to take a village. On campus and all that.
So I have a question in regards to officers. I believe Keatron has historically had 2 officers. And there was a request for a 3rd officer. Yeah, there was a request for a 3rd officer. And from my understanding, the officer was being, we hired a 3rd officer. The officer was being trained. I believe the officer is there now. So yes, that request was made. And as of today, I do believe there is a 3rd officer there.
I want to first start off by saying respectfully, Ms. Montgomery needs a better. That's it. The question was, where was she? She was on the golf cart, because every time I come around to the school, she's on the golf cart. Why? I'm a former graduate, 2005 from the Keatron High School. I did everything in my power to make sure we bought a house in this district for our kids. Okay? When I was in school, I wore a lanyard. We wore lanyards. If you didn't have a lanyard, they were stopping you. These kids have too much freedom. Why are they ordering food? Why are they having DoorDash time? Why the day after the shooting was I able to come on Russell Hall to deliver something for my daughter and was not stopped or questioned? Why? And then when I went into Russell Hall, Miss Regina had nerve to be slouched in the couch, talking to another teacher, asking how her son was. But you're not worrying about the students, but you're worrying about the brand. Because how dare she come out her mouth as a mother and tell the people this morning that it's about saving the brand? That's disgusting. And if we're being honest, what they're not telling you is the shooter, Scotty, was a student at the Keatron High School. So let's tell the facts. Because that young man stays in my neighborhood. And when my kids get on the bus, the last time that young man was on the bus was January of 2024. So you can't sit here and tell me that he was not enlisted or enrolled at that school, whether he was there that day or the day before, or wasn't coming at all. He was enrolled in that school. And you all painted this picture that he wasn't enrolled. He was a student. A student. There's no reason why these kids are coming on campus with guns. How? An AK? That can't even fit in a book bag. How did that get on campus? All we are asking for is protection for our kids. If y'all can't do it, move out the way and let us do it. You stay here. Great. But actions speak louder than words, baby. And our kids, I don't know about nobody else, but mine, I'm going to do whatever I have to do for mine. And their safety is my #1 concern. And not just my child, but every child on that campus. This is disgusting. Y'all are not going to paint this out to be like, it's the kids. No, it's the see her this morning. She had a lot to say then. And for a missing child, I got up out of my bed because of my child to find her child. I didn't even get an email from the school. That was on Facebook, and that was on TikTok. I was informed by my child, and I go look on my Facebook and see that poor child. There's no reason why a child is walking at 12 something the next morning, while the same teacher and the same principal laid up for their family at home. And this woman had to wait by the phone for her child. And then the other one had to get her child arrested and detained because he fit the what? Description. Get it together. Y'all need to all get it together.
All right, where is she? Cisco? Okay, this is what we're gonna do, solutions. What are some of the things that we need to implement so that we can start the run right here at the microphone, so that we can ensure safety? What are some of the things that you would like to, you can come forward, I'll go to right now. We'll discuss.
My name is Jim Rutherford. I'm retired military, 23 years in the United States Air Force. We retired here in Powder Springs, 2014. Two of my children graduated from the teacher in 2020, 2021. I had a certified level 2 anti-terrorism instructor in the Air Force. So with that said, vulnerability assessments need to take place at the Keatron High School. From the outside looking in, we need entry control points. Entry control points where they're checking students' IDs to even gain access. And two, the campus. The campus needs to be a closed campus, not an open campus. You need a control room where you have someone while the school hours are going, watching cameras at all of the areas that could be potentially dangerous or hidden points where you don't have teachers monitoring those areas or administration monitoring those areas. You also need metal detectors. You need someone stationed at the doors into the entrance of all the buildings. There are many buildings on the Keatron campus. When you have those entry control points at the perimeter and at the buildings, that will help. It's not going to prevent, but that will help decrease the amount of weapons that are going inside that building. And then, why did we not do a vulnerability assessment or after action report from when the AK-47 was taking a picture in the latrine of that building? And why weren't measures put into place to protect the staff and the students at that facility after that incident? Now here we are, a month and a half later, and we have a shooting outside with students of McKeitron that have weapons on campus. Thank you.
Military, and I work from home as a nurse. One thing I would say that the school has an issue with is how they alert parents. Our children alert us before anything has been sent out by the school. People complain about kids having their cell phones in school, and the kids are the ones who alert their parents, and we rush up there before anything takes place. December 14th, prime example, I was able to drive on campus, and no one stopped me. I was able to walk to the cafeteria with other parents to go get our children. No one stopped us. The principal, yes, she was a police officer on that golf cart, and no one stopped us. Once my son, he has Asperger's, and he was able to alert me and said, "Mom, over someone got shot." My husband was in Lawrenceville at a military event. He rushed down to come and help me with our son. My son, every time he tells me something, I rush to come make sure that he's okay. And He alerted me. It took almost an hour or hour and a half before the school sent something out. Other parents, how do they know? Their kids call. Their kids call. They text them. But the school did not send anything out. My son is terrified of going back to school. He convinced his sister, who's in 8th grade, getting ready to go to 9th grade, to not go to teacher. So she is not going to go online school because she's terrified. Thankfully, we actually leave next year. My husband getting orders to go somewhere else next year. Because of the fact that we're not extending to stay here because they're not safe. So the alert system is a big issue. We're not being alerted in a timely manner. So that's something that needs to be changed.
Hi, my name is Kirk Hunter. I have an 11th grade son. So yeah, I would. They don't want me to speak. Now, the part about the alerts is interesting because the text message that we got said something like important notice. So you have no idea that there was a dangerous situation on campus. And we get texts like that say important notice, and it'll be like photography is on sale 15% off. So if I ignore that text message, I don't have any idea what's going on. So the alert system is definitely trash. Room for improvement there. I echo the military. So it is an open campus. I'm not sure how you close it. However, it's my understanding that they have a lot of the cameras already. You need a command center in that campus. Like you said, bank of cameras. So you got that eye in the sky. You got that congregation. You see people starting to do donuts in the parking lot. They're about to rumble. Now you can send the resources over there because you can do a lot of entry point stuff, and we probably do need to do that and make sure that people aren't coming in with metallics. But it's an open campus, and kids will go where somebody's not. They knew where the cops were. They just go to the other side. They were unimpeded for like an hour, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then the last thing that wasn't mentioned, but one of the students actually talked about it. These drills for active shooters, they have to be unplanned, and you have to see what it's gonna be like real time, have that concern, as opposed to, we're gonna do it on Friday, October 14th, everybody's real casual, they're not in the circumstance. Because this happened, and my understanding is, cops escorted them out while they weren't supposed to be, and then escorted them back in. So because you're not running through that drill on a consistent basis, there was a lot of operational failure on that day. Last thing, a gun was brought to the school 6 weeks prior, and no additional security measures, threat assessments, unacceptable.
Good evening. My name is Dorothy Morale. I am a Powder Springs resident for 4 months. There have been 2 gun incidents in 2 months. I worked in New York City child welfare for 44 years. New York City is rampant with crime. I moved to the suburbs of New York City, rampant with crime. We never had guns, never had shooting incidents, because your kids undergo magnetic detention before they go into the building. There are all sides of the issue as to where people want to be. I want my grandson to be safe. As a retired social worker, I have not heard anyone talk about mental health counseling, intervention. What have we done with our children after each of these incidents? My grandson told me he was terrified when that officer came to the door with it, I don't know, AK-47, AK-15, whatever you want to call it. He was terrified. But I was able to process that with him. But what about all the other children in that school that have no one to talk to, no one to process? So that is something that is mentioned. Let's not underestimate the damage emotionally and mentally that is being done to our children each and every time one of these incidents occurs. personally insulted by 9 o'clock meeting this morning with all the working parents. Where were they?
Good evening, friends and neighbors. My name is Dave Robinson, and I was an McKeever parent. My son just graduated last year. My daughter, in 2019, graduated honors. We graduated college in May. It's very difficult to be a McKeever parent because McKeever is not prepared for the institution. It just isn't. And leadership, I mean, it has to start at the top. And I'm one of those parents who was urging the superintendent of Cobb County Schools to replace Regina Montgomery. It is the last semester of our school. I was a deputy sheriff in South Los Angeles County. Third generation police officer. In Compton, Watts, and South LA. And 2,400 miles away from home. In the community where property values are really escalating. You know, $1 million homes in the neighborhood, $600,000 homes across the street bars for my children. And when I asked my son his opinion of the video, the shooting, he said, "Dad, kids in the Keatron bring guns to school all the time." You know, it's not new. He was in private school. He wanted to participate in 7A athletics. That's how it happened. He had a 3.5 GPA when I had him in a private homeschool library. His grades plummeted. You know, he was bullied. And so I'm up there because you're not going to bully my child. That's not happening. I went into law enforcement to protect children from bullying. And so the responses I received and the feedback from Principal Montgomery, it seemed as though she was more enamored with the sound of her own voice than finding solutions for the problem of our school. I saw with my own eyes leaving a McKeever football game 2 factions of girls getting ready to fight. I don't want to call them a gang, but based on their behavior, you might want to call them that. She went straight to her car, opened the door, and pulled away. And it blew me away. That's not what I saw from my principal growing up. This is a good community that's worth fighting. When parents want to be proactively involved, create a school environment that encourages that. Some of my most stressful moments as a parent occurred at Keatron High School, just going up there to make sure my children are getting what my tax dollars are paying for. And it shouldn't be that way. What are we doing here? Where my son brings home a video where 2 girls were viciously trying to kill each other. I mean, the anger, I'm like, where is that coming from? And the lady who mentioned mental health counseling, that seemed to be a mental health issue. But it was vicious. I said, son, and the children are all, they're taking it with their phone. They're recording it. No adults anywhere. And he also mentioned that controlled substance use and sales are going on that campus on a regular basis. So let's not act brand new with the kids there and pretend like all of this is new and it just happened. Because the bullying hasn't been dealt with, and the more minor incidents haven't really been addressed. And the concerns in the Keatron, and the principal agreed with me when I mentioned this, athletics, in academics, in singing. And that's not acceptable. So this is a public forum where everybody gets to vent as much as time will allow. And then we have to come up with viable solutions for what happens next. It's too darn easy to get in, to enter that campus and leave. It's not secure anyway. And so but it's a public place, and you have to balance accessibility with security. And that's not easy to do. But it's doable. But right now, our children don't feel safe. And they're coming home more stressed out than they should be. When the focus should be on educating them so they can go on to college, they can go on to whatever field of endeavor they want to pursue. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tina Williams. My daughter is a junior at McEachern High School. I'm just going to piggyback off of what everyone else said, but I feel like the main thing that needs to happen is the leadership. And you have to have authority. When you have authority, you have less chaos. When you go to a concert, there's thousands of people here, but they have the authority and they have rules that they enforce. And if you enforce these rules on these kids, there will be less chaos, and then it's the respect. But you have to have respect from the leadership, from the principal to the teachers, and then the students. I know a lot of people may think, well, kids have to respect adults, but adults need to respect the kids as well. Those teachers there at McEachern High School, and I have experienced it firsthand. My daughter is a great kid, and I know kids act different when they're away from their parents. I understand that, but I know my daughter. And for two teachers at McEachern High School to insult her, that's not acceptable. But it has to start with the respect. If you have the respect from the teachers, respecting the kids will respect, but you have to have the rules enforced. You have to enforce the rules. That goes from the dress code, and that goes from entering the school. They need to have metal detectors. I went to school 20 years ago in high school, and I went to a metal detector in Chicago, and it was no issue. They need metal detectors because of the world we live in. That's the world, that's the reality that we have. Gun control is not control. So we have to do this and fight for our kids to have, I don't care if it's an open campus. That should not matter. It still should be order on the campus, but it starts with enforcing the rules, the dress code. Even at the games, my daughter is a cheerleader. I don't even feel safe at the games. I can't even pay attention to the game because I'm worried about what the kids are doing around me. I can't even enjoy myself at a game because I'm so worried about what's going on. I'm not going to go out to a concert, to a lounge, to a restaurant if I don't feel safe. But I go to the schools because I'm supporting my daughter and I'm supporting the school. But it just has gotten out of hand and it has escalated from events that have been occurring from when school first started to the December to now this gun shooting. But what is it going to take? Why is it going to take a kid to lose their life for then you put up the metal detector? For then you enforce the rules? Why does it have to take that? And it shouldn't. But we have to come together as a community. We have to come together as parents. And we have to fight for our kids in our school because 5 minutes away at Hillbrook, we're not having this issue. We're not having this issue at Hillbrook. But if she took out race, because they have a black principal, but she put her foot down. And your business, and those kids know you're not going to come into school and corrupt the school. We have rules and regulations that you're going to follow or you're going to be sent out. And that's what needs to happen in the future. You can't say that you can't control what these kids, just as little as what these kids wear when they come to the game. It should be a dress code, just like as adults. When we go out to the lounge, to concerts, they have rules. You can't come in here with a hat, gym shoes, white tees. You're going to get sent around. It don't matter how much money you spend, you're going to waste your money, right? So that's what it is with these kids. You shouldn't have to come around and see a freak show with teenagers and then you wonder why a man is looking at your daughter and you're mad. No, you have to take control. It shouldn't be all about money at these schools, at these events. If they're not coming correct with clothes on, you need to send them back around. So that's what needs to happen. We need to start with the leadership. We have to have authority, and we will have less chaos in our schools. But it starts at the top, and it starts with us coming out like we did today, but it can't just be for today. It cannot just be for today. It's got to be continued. I rode around the school and we didn't have another officer in the parking lot. The gate was closed. What about next week? What about next month? What about next school year? I am considering transferring my daughter her senior year. She may not go this year because she's going to go to another school, which I think that's us. But for the safety of her, we're going to jeopardize that. We're going to consider that. But why does she have to go through that? Because you can't do what you're supposed to do as a protector and get these kids in order. They should not have control of these schools. We should have control. My son went to school in Woodstock. I have an older son. He graduated this last May. I never had these issues. I understand the world that we live in. Everything cannot be controlled, but it can be. What am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. But it cannot be controlled, but it can be controllable. You know what I mean? Like, I never had these issues. Yeah, anybody can come anywhere with a gun. That's just unfortunately the world we live in. But when I sent my son to that school, I knew he was safe. It was no fighting every day. It was no chaos like we have in McEachern High School, and no accountability. That's what our parents have said. Regina, she does not take accountability. I don't know if the emails is coming from her, the school district, but it's no accountability. It's always pointing a finger at somebody else, but no, it's the school, and we have to take control. Back up the school, back up the community, back up our kids.
So, our time is about, so we have to do like we do in the school board meeting. Everybody that's in line, we got 2 minutes, or I might have to cut you off. So please try and put it into 2 minutes so that we can get out of here within the time frame that I told them that we would be here. So, all right, I appreciate you. Because I don't want to shut it down, trust me, but we do have to. If we need to come back again, we'll do that as well. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Pat Lynch. I got to be very careful because I am an employee of the school, and I also don't look like a lot of the students I teach, and I get that, okay? Quick background, I've shut down lacrosse games on the other side of town, you know what I'm talking about, because my kids weren't treated fairly. And I know there's a lot of anger in the room. I will tell you that my friends who teach are doing their best to teach your children and to protect your children. Okay? There is a huge disconnect between what is out there looking in and what is inside looking out. So I know you're upset. I know you're upset, and I know that everybody is venting. I get it. But when I tell you that my older child went to McEachern and graduated, my middle child is going to McEachern graduated, or going to graduate hopefully. My youngest, don't know if he's going to graduate, but he's going to go too. My daughter went to Denmark on the other side of town, wanted to come to McEachern. I will not teach any other place other than McEachern, and I've got a lot of job on. I am not going anywhere, and I look like this. The people that look like me, rest of your life, I'm sorry about that. But me and my friends, both black, white, red, brown, yellow, pale, female, and the other one, everybody at the ground level is trying to do their best. Okay? So just give us some time and we're going to try to make it better. Okay? All right?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Crystal Watley. I am one of the administrators at McKean High School. I am also a citizen of Powder Springs for about 24 years. My son's graduated from McKean High School, and I have love for the school, for the community. I've heard the comments, and my heart goes out to the parents. We do want you to feel safe. We want your children safe. We want what you want, believe it or not. And I do not think that one person is to blame for all of this. What I think, when I came to this meeting tonight, the reason I came is because I thought that we could set aside our differences and really come up with some solutions where we can deal with some real problems. Yes, we have a gun problem. We have a violence problem. But it's not just at McKean High School. McKean is just a building. I want to say that again, McKean is just a building. Okay? The problem is not just at McKean, it's in our community. So my question to you and my challenge to you is, what are we going to do? I understand. I feel terrible about what happened in those events. I was part of it. I was traumatized. But now we need to move forward and come up with some real solutions about what we're going to do in our community. Because the fights that you see in our school also are in our neighborhoods. They're about businesses. I didn't hear anyone speak about that. And I see that all over social media. And I will say this. A lot of the problems stem from what your children see on social media. And I've spoken with parents about this. Monitor your child at home on social media, because a lot of the problems that come to the school stem from what they were experiencing the night before. And that's just facts. I'm not going to speak about school. I'm not going to speak as a representative of the school. I'm representing myself as a community member. I would love to work with everyone in this room. I am happy that you are here, because it lets me know that you all care about your community. But let's make it a community thing. Let's solve some problems as a community, because it's not just a school problem, and we need to face that fact. Okay?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shanti Watley, and I also have a child at the
As well. I don't want to hear myself.
So I appreciate everyone that's here, whether you're a teacher, a leader, a parent, a grandparent, because we're standing in the gap. Whether you're watching online or you're right here in the building, we're standing in the gap. So I will go over some notes for some solutions, because I love what someone said earlier, which was, this is a good community and it's worth fighting for. So there was a mention about counseling, and we learned at the parent meeting that there were counselors available on Friday. However, we know that many of the students were not in attendance on Friday. So my question, or perhaps a solution, would be, what mental health activities can we present to assist the children that did not have that opportunity? And how can those counselors be more involved? And then also share that process with the parents. Can we also, because I did attend the meeting, the principal chat this morning, can we remember communication sensitivity details such as, I learned at that meeting, not play what doesn't kill you make you stronger the next day, or say I'm a straight shooter during a coffee chat when we just had a shooting. Also, are we able to enforce next steps action plans whenever a code red is issued? And then finally, I heard during this meeting about the Next Door Act, and a lot of us learned it. I personally did not. I didn't have the opportunity to learn it. I learned by my daughter giving me a phone call, and she wasn't even a student, to make me mindful to contact my son in a closed door, small room. So I was not aware, but I was wondering, and you parents, if we have, Here Comes the Bus, do y'all remember that app? Can we get an app similar to the Next Door app for parents, for networking events? It's like a one-place central event. It shows the active code alerts for that school, and then what is the current standing within That's all I have. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Garza. I have a 7-year-old that attends a elementary school in another part of the county. And I'll tell you that when I heard about the teacher shooting, I was at the state capitol at a hearing on gun violence and how to reduce it, and we get that word that was happening in the school. And we're going to go another year in our state. We have state representatives here. Another year, we're going to do nothing on gun violence throughout our state. And it's the #1 killer of our children. Doesn't matter whether it's in America or in Georgia or here in Cobb County. So there are things that we can do at the state level to keep guns out of the hands of our children, or keep guns out of the hands of people who want to do harm to our children. And that is one thing that, even though that's not just a teaching problem, that is something that's happening everywhere. Now, after Uvalde, many parents here in Cobb County, we reached out to the school district and asked them for steps to reduce gun violence in our communities. We asked them for a town hall such as this, with our new assistant superintendent of school safety. We were denied. But it's obvious that there is a need for that, and that we should be having that in every part of the county. We asked because how are our children getting guns when they can't legally buy guns? Three-quarters of school students get their guns from their parents, their caregivers, family members. And so and half of those, it was so easy to get a gun. I was at that gun hearing because my 17-year-old cousin got an unsecured firearm and killed himself while a junior in high school. So we can educate parents on securing their guns safely and keeping them out of the hands of our children. And our school district plays a role in that, because if they can send out communications about political stuff through our CTLS, they can send out messages. I've heard a lot about accountability from everyone. A lot of attention to principal. But we actually do have the chief person in charge of accountability in our school district at that level. So if you want to actually talk to somebody about accountability, he's right there, John Forrester. So I encourage you all to be active in our district. We know there's a concerted effort to silence your voices. Somebody mentioned that this is happening in the kitchen because it is predominantly Black. And there is a concerted effort in this district to silence the voices of Black and Latino citizens. And it is up to us to make sure that that doesn't go out any longer. That's all I have.
Hi, my name is Kirk Hunter. I'm the son of a man who didn't want to speak earlier. Right? So I'm a student at McEachern High School. I can provide insights that not a lot of you really have. Like, you get information from your students, but that's only saying it, and they don't tell you everything. I know this morning, Ms. Montgomery came on to the speaker for like the first time in 3 years, not talking about something just like completely topical. And it really sounded like she didn't want to even speak, right? It just sounded like she was bored out of her mind, like she didn't even want to sing. Like, part of me, like, that's the person I'm supposed to look up to, and I'm supposed to, like, look for guidance, and I just can't take it seriously. Not a lot of us in the teacher take her seriously. And it's disgusting, right? Like, this Monday, she came on, talked about how much we did great despite the circumstances on Thursday. And then she talked about McEachern being a brand. Being a brand. So to me, as a student, I feel like I'm just part of a brand. I don't even feel like I'm a student at McEachern. I just feel like I am there to be window dressing. I don't know how much money we spent, but we installed a new field that's completely turf in the baseball field, right? It's even the infield is turf. It's all turf. 1.3 million. And that money could be reallocated to staff. My AP Chem teacher almost got stuck with 48 students in one class period. 48 students. He had to take out one of his planning periods to split it up. And I mean, that's crazy. We barely have enough for 30 in that one class. It's hard to teach. We have 2,400 students at McEachern. We don't have enough staff. We have six, how many counselors do we have? We have 5 counselors for 2,400 students. It's ridiculous. We're not getting the help that we need. So all the fighting and stuff, it's normal because we don't have enough people to talk to, right? So it's just hard for us to get. It's just hard for us to get the help that we need.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yeli Adesanya. I'm Lola's mother and in fact, grandma, the child that got missing. My concern was I was at the meeting this morning, the coffee meeting, but what I'm getting from Ms. Montgomery is one, she's not getting any support from the district. So that's what she's putting out there. And what can we do to make things better in order to support the school? Because that's the answer she's coming up with. And also, communication is very bad. Because her answer to me was, I'm not the one that put out the email. The email come from the district, so I can't do nothing about that. So how can you all do better with communication with your principal or the people that works for this school? So this needs to be better. It's really sad that we have to go through this dramatic situation. My whole family is still going through it. It's not over yet. So we need to know what the district have to do in order to make this better. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I stand here as a representative of Georgia's PTA. I know you're going to PTA, but you have to do this, right? I was South Cobb Council President for 2 years. I had children at Hollydale and at Smithfield. I'm currently in Paulding, but I wanted to talk to you about the mental health issues. Someone brought up, well, what are we doing for mental health? You have state representatives in the building right now. I want you to pull out your paper and your pen. I'm going to give you some items that you, as parents, need to get on the state about. Districts can only do so much. They don't have the money. There's a $16 billion surplus in the state of Georgia that can be used towards these programs. That's what's going to happen. The district only has enough money to do what they do. Yes, a new turf is not a good thing to use money for, but I want to ask you, how many of you parents in here have gone to East Wash meetings? I fought for East Wash when it came back up for Cobb County. I work for the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a full-time worker. I work for the government, the federal government. I have 3 children. I'm a doctoral student, but I work in PTA. I sit as a council president, and I work on the district. So I oversee Cobb, Cherokee, Douglas, Paulding. I take time out of my life to do this. It's serious to me. I've been wanting to do this since I was in 6th grade. To write these things down, there is a bill called HB 520. It is the mental health issue bill that is sitting in the state senate. I, on Tuesday, with about 100 PTA members, including Trey, were at the state capitol building this Tuesday fighting for this. But you got to email your representatives, right? So there's also a gun safety. There's 3 gun safety rules. HB 135, S is in Sam, B 75, and SB 269. One establishes an offense for failure to adequately secure your firearm. I'm a gun owner. My husband's a gun owner. Our children know not to touch our guns. We've had these conversations. I have a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary student. You've got to have these conversations with your children. They're right. Social media is very influential, but you are too. And parents need to take back your authority in your homes. The government doesn't pay us to raise our children. We have to raise them, so we can't let them tell what we can do with our children. The other is an offense for dealing or bringing guns to school. These are the things you have to fight for. Talking to the district is wonderful. I go to school board meetings. I'm on Trey's face. I text him about South High not having a ramp for handicapped people at the football stadium. I promise you, 2 weeks later, they built a ramp. You've got to advocate for your children. They're not going to do it if you're not there. Please don't tell me you're too busy. I'm busy, but I'm there. Okay, thank you.
Yes, good morning. Check this. I came here tonight to see 2 entities. One was the chief. Appreciate it being here. Where's the superintendent? Where is he? I would know that we are serious about it. We see the Cobb County Police side here and superintendent.
Well, I'm not the superintendent, but my name is John. I'm on his staff, and the superintendent regrettably could not attend tonight, but it was important for us to be able to hear as we have from you. And I've heard from many of us who've been up here who have given us good feedback, and I can promise you it's getting to him and to staff who can do something about it. So, thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is John. I'm talking about teaching. I'm talking about big issues. What I see is a public high school. And there are we going to prevent every situation like this happening? Because they're open campus also. So open campus is going to be living across the county. Because this could be prevented. Right now, they have the same issues, although there hasn't been shooting anything. You can walk on their campus the same way. With every people white people over there one day, she was bringing us in the courtyard. She was drove in the courtyard if she chose. I'm not blaming the principal. I don't know a situation like that. I'm looking at it for itself. It's an open campus. It has to be addressed. It's a safety issue. So I'm going to call the colleges and the teachers. I know it's an issue, but it's not just one location. We can be proactive, prevent this, listen.
All right. I'm going to put you on the lead, but just a couple questions. Do we need to do this again? Yes. All right, I will schedule another one. We'll schedule another one. Okay. We have 3 pages of stuff. So the homework is start thinking about next steps and what we can collectively do to improve culture and climate and safety at our school. Okay? And I will make sure that we get back here sometime next week or even during the break. Okay, so we did request to have that in the future, but it was denied. So I will do my best.
So I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all, and I don't know if that's the case. I was told that they weren't allowed to have a teacher, so I need y'all to do this.
Go ahead.
What? Floresta, will you let them have a teacher in high school? Will you let these parents have a meeting at the teacher in high school? Will you work with us to try to do the next town hall meeting there? Okay, so can you guys come during the day or during the night meeting? You need after work. How do you work? Okay, so if you will commit to actually trying to work with me to try to get them a meeting at night, because we have parents out in the hallway, we have parents out in the parking lot, and we have a lot of parents that wanted to participate that couldn't. And so all we're asking is that we had a shooting at the school. Open the school doors to parents. That's all we're asking. That's our first step. That's our first step tonight. I think the takeaway from tonight could possibly be, they have their work that they do, and they're working hard, but they need to make a commitment that we will be a partner in this activity, because you heard all of it. And I think I don't think it's that hard to say it's our school. It's our school, it's our taxpayers, so I think it just makes sense, John.
Well, that's why we're here tonight, and that's why we're so happy to have listened for the last 2.5 hours, I think, to each of you, and the voices we heard, the feedback we heard, and we'd love to hear more. So I appreciate your organizing.
Thank you so much.
All right. I promised my wife I was going to be good. But I also made a promise to voters when I ran and people that I represent, my neighbors. I am not going to take that answer. Because it's unfair to y'all to say, I'm here. I gave my cell phone about the folks. It is not that hard to listen, but if you don't do nothing, it don't matter. You can listen all you want. So I asked for one simple request. Open the doors. It ain't that hard. Do we need to be here for a basketball game? After a football game? So listen to the parents, that's all we're asking. And like I said, one second. We have been very, one second, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. Hold on, sir, hold on, let me back up a second. I think we've been very respectful. We've been very committed today. We came with concerns and solutions. This is what you want from the community. We have, this meeting, thank you, Trey. Give Trey a hand. And so we want to take that same respect to show the world what the future really is like. This is a good thing. It is parents that are engaged, parents that are informed, parents that are passionate. That is something you want on campus. You want to be in a meeting where we're in the same meeting, where we got the school and we're like, we're going to do it. So all I'm asking is that we continue this dialogue tomorrow. We continue this dialogue tomorrow, but I think it's not that big of a commitment to say the school. It really isn't. So I'm just going to leave it at that and say, hear us, but listen. And so I just want to say thank you. And again, you see my wife thought I was good. I didn't get too much trouble, but and I say that I'm passionate. I really am. My kids went to school, they went right to school. And so anyway, we're gonna have another meeting on the fall crazy. All right?
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. We're gonna try and schedule something for next week. Same time, same place. Oh, no, not the same place, same time. Thursday, 6:30, and we'll work on the location, okay? All right. Thank you so very much. Thank y'all so much. Y'all be well safe.